This is video 8.4, solving equations of the form a multiplied by x plus b is equal to c. So we're going to start by remembering a term or property that we've discussed previously, and that is the distributive property. Okay? So the distributive property, and the reason why it's called that is because it distributes, or the process that you use to apply it, you distribute the number of the term to all number or terms inside the brackets that it's being multiplied by. Okay, so example, we've got x multiplied by, in brackets, 3 plus y. Okay, what we mean, or the way that we apply this then, is this x is the term that's being multiplied by everything in the brackets, so this x is distributed to both, and so we would write this, or use this x times the 3 first, so 3x, and then x times the y, and so we add that to x times the y, which would just be xy. Okay, see how that works? The x has to be multiplied to every term inside. Okay. When we have a linear equation in this form, a times the variable plus another value inside of brackets, there are two, or at least two, I guess, possible approaches to solve this. This video is going to look at the first approach, which uses this distributive property we've just reminded ourselves of. So that's what we'll do, and then next video we'll show you the other approach that you can use. And as you get more comfortable with them, you'll probably see that you'll pick the one that you're more comfortable with, and you'll maybe start to see ones that kind of lend themselves to one of these approaches more than the other. Okay, so this one, approach number one, we're going to use the distributive property first. Okay, so to do that, we'll show you a couple examples. So we got 3 multiplied by d plus 0.4 in brackets, and that's equal to negative 3.9. So remember, distributive property means that 3 needs to be multiplied and distributed to both of those values. So 3 times d is 3d, okay, and then plus 3 times 0.4 is 1.2, and all that's going to be equal to negative 3.9. Okay, and now we've got ourselves something that's identical to the ones that we were doing in the last video. Okay, so we see that on the side that it's d, we've got two different operations happening. We've got a 3 being multiplied by d, plus then we've got this addition. So reverse order of operations means we're going to deal with the addition first. So subtract 1.2, do that from both sides. Okay, cancels on this side, we're left with 3d is equal to a negative 3.9 minus that 1.2, which leaves us with a negative 5.1. Okay, and then we see that 3 is being multiplied by d. To get rid of that, we're going to divide by 3. Divide both sides by 3. We end up with d is equal to, we're going to say it is 5.1 divided by 3. Should have done this one beforehand. 5.1 divided by 3 is negative 1.21 divided by 3 would be 7. Okay, negative 1.7. And if you don't trust my math, you can look that up for yourself on a calculator. Okay, or do a long division, because you know how to do that too. Alright, let's do one more example to show this. Okay, we've got one here. I'll just rewrite it out the way that I would expect you to write it in your notebook. It would make more sense on the computer. It's a little harder to type it that way. Okay, t minus 1 divided by 5 is equal to 3 over 2. Excuse me. Okay, so, well, this one looks a little bit different. We don't see a distributive property here. Well, just got to look a little bit closer. When we divide by 5, really what we could say instead, dividing by 5, is multiplying by 1 over 5, right? So really, what we're saying here is, okay, is that. That's exactly the same statement, right? T minus 1 is being divided by 5, which is the exact same thing as being multiplied by 1 over 5. Okay? So, using the distributive property, we're going to apply that 1 over 5 to each of the terms in there. Okay? And when we do that, we get 1 over 5 times t will be t over 5. Okay? And then 1 over 5 times a negative 1 is going to just be negative 1 over 5, and all that's equal to 3 over 2. Okay, now same thing as what we've been doing. Got to add, because we're doing reverse, excuse me, reverse order of operations. We're going to deal with the subtraction first. So we'll add a 1/5 to both sides. That cancels off nicely. We'll move up here to finish it off. T over 5 is equal to 3/2 plus 1/5. Remember, adding fractions, we need a common denominator, so we can use 10. T over 5 is going to be equal to 15 over 10 plus 2 over 10. Okay, so T over 5 is equal to 17 over 10. Okay, and then we remember that t is being divided by 5, so we're going to multiply both sides by 5. That cancels, so t is going to be equal to 17 over 10 times 5, so 17 times 5 is going to be 85. Run another room here. 85 over 10 should do it. You'd be able to simplify that down or write it as a decimal. Excuse me. T is equal to 8.5. Okay, that's one approach, using the distributive property first. Next video we'll look at another one, but this is good to get us started. Okay, hope that's helpful.